My guest today is Tammy McLellan. She is Canadian and moved to Scotland in 1989. She is trained in adult massage, and when she had her first child, it just felt logical to massage her too. She then discovered research about the benefits of massage for preterm babies and became passionate about massage for all, especially with babies and children. She began teaching parents, midwives, health visitors, early years practitioners, and the Scottish School of Child and Baby Massage was born 28 years ago. She ran her business while having and raising a family of 7 children. She has many stories about the profound impact that massage has on lives of other parents and babies with bonding, health and well-being, and wants to start writing a book now that most of the young people in her home have moved out. So welcome to the show, Tammy. Lovely to have you here. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
As you know, the show is called Unbroken, and the first question that I ask all of my guests is, what does that word unbroken mean to you?
It means being able to pick myself up and carry on, whatever happens. I often think of the Japanese have a phrase, I can't pronounce it properly, for a broken pottery.
Yes, it's called kintsugi.
Kintsugi, all right. And that, pottery breaks and we often throw it away in anger and the rest of it, but they actually mend it with gold. And that the mistakes or stuff that happens to us in life can be terrible, absolutely terrible. But it then depends on what we do with that. Do we throw ourselves in the rubbish bin, or do we go, okay, there's some bits here that I can mend and put back together? And and I also feel that this is a little bit existential, but I feel that there is something bigger than me. So there's the little I, my personality, that gets rolled around in the mud and destroyed and all sorts of horrible things. And believe me, I've walked out of my house in floods of tears frequently with different situations, but there's something more. And actually getting out of the house for me is a saving grace, because I look at the stars, I look at the moon, I look at the sun, and just think there's something more than me. There's a bigger I, and if I can just keep connected to that, then the little I can maybe survive and pick itself up and carry on going. So for me, yeah, life may break you and bruise you and bust you up, but as long as I can get up again in the morning, put my feet on the ground and haul myself out of bed, I think I've got a chance. So unbroken for me is, I suppose, in a way, keeping going irrespective, believing that there's something bigger and more. And if I can just tap into that, it'll all work out.
Yeah. So it's about being grounded and about believing, really, isn't it? And having faith and trusting life.
Yeah. What is it that I've always wanted to do, but never kind of given myself permission to do? And I thought, I've always loved massage, always. And so I thought, well, why not train in it? And that was really when the story for me about touch began, or developed further, I should say, because I trained in adult massage and I just thought, yeah, this is really helpful for, I enjoyed giving it and it really had benefits for others. Yeah.
And you say it was very natural when you had your first child just to massage them as well?
Yeah, when Lindsay was born, I just looked at her and thought, well, this is just a mini adult. She's a gorgeous little person. I'll just give her a massage. But the strange thing about it was when I shared that with other people and even other massage therapists, they go, "Oh, you massage your baby? Ooh, that's a bit strange. You massage children?" And I'm thinking, yeah, why not? You know? And I was at the Center for Stress Management in Easter House. It was a program to help people with massage and counseling. And I had Lindsay there a few days a week with me, and I was massaging her. And a young teenage mom said to me, "Would you show me what you're doing on your daughter for my son?" And I thought, yes, sure, absolutely. But then I thought, wow, if a teenage mom in Easter House is interested in massaging her baby, maybe other people would be too. And that's when I began to go and look at different research and how I would do this. And I came across a piece of research that said premature babies that were massaged and rocked for 3 15-minute periods a day after 10 days on average had a 47% greater weight gain and went home 10 days earlier,
Wow.
which just, I know,
Yeah.
thought was amazing for the parents, for the babies. It saved the hospitals some money, you know?
Well, I had my first daughter in London. It was a little bit of an alternative hospital because my husband could stay with me. We had our own room. They were very into water pool births and homeopathy, aromatherapy, and they taught us how to do baby massage once we had our babies. But also, it didn't just relax my baby, it relaxed me. It gave me time out and half an hour, whatever I would spend every day doing it. And then I went on to have two more children, and then I would teach my girls how to massage their sisters as well, and they all love taking part as well. So I know the benefits from both sides, definitely.
Well, one of the other things fascinating that I found is Hippocrates, who's considered the father of modern medicine. All doctors in the UK still take the Hippocratic oath.
Yes, they do.
He said a daily rub was essential to maintain good health,
Yeah.
which I just think, the way our medicine has gone, we've learned lots of wonderful things about that. But if we could add in a bit more touch, I think we'd have an even more amazing system.
And I think that's about touch in general, isn't it? Because I know with COVID, a lot of people that lived by themselves said they just missed, or even people that didn't live by themselves, that we couldn't see our family members. We just missed hugs, we just missed being touched, that kind of intimacy, but not in a sexual nature. Just to be touched and to be held is so important, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. And I think sometimes that's where some of the problems come in, is we associate touch with intimacy.
Yeah.
And and that can get a bit tricky. So actually what massage does help separate that out.
Yeah.
And because sometimes we just want a hug, but maybe the person we're asking it from doesn't understand that,
Yes.
so that's where massage is so good, because it can create really clear boundaries and really help people get appropriate touch in a way that they like.
Yeah, that's good. So you went from having one child really to then having seven, didn't you? You acquired some stepchildren, you had some children of your own, you adopted your sister's child, and you ended up with seven kids to look after in all various ways.
Yeah, yeah,
It's quite a handful.
yeah, yeah.
And one of your children has severe autism, doesn't he, and epilepsy as well. So within that mix, you have a child with special needs.
Yeah, yeah. I have to say, Madeleine, that sometimes I'm self-employed, that sometimes when I went away to work, I got a break from being.
Well, I'm not surprised because, I'm one of five. My mum always said, when you get to four, you don't notice number five. And I thought, I will never get to that position. I will never have four kids. Three to me that was fine. That was enough. And I had a little bit of a gap between the last two, like 5-year gap. So they were already at school when I had just a baby at home. But yeah, it's tiring. 7 kids.
Yeah.
How did you do it?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure now when I look back. At the time, it just seemed, I got pregnant when I didn't think I could, and then a bit like your mom, once you get past a certain number, it's like, oh well, we're in this.
What's a few more?
in for a penny and for a pound. I mean, so, and each baby was very gorgeous in itself, and I couldn't say no when I would get pregnant again. It was just yeah. And yeah, it does change. It does change. The older kids realize that if they want help from you, they have to help out. So it's not the same as having one or two.
Yeah.
Because if somebody wants to lift somewhere, they know they have to help the dishes. It does become a whole bit more of a management issue, but it's not like one multiplied 7 times. There are certain things that change. And the older ones can look after the younger ones.
Yes, they're all at different stages.
Yeah. There's certain elements.
But it sounds like a little company with the managing directors and the executive producers, and everybody's got their role to play, really.
But the asking permission for some people will be vitally important because of their history.
But it's almost as if what you're saying, the very act of massage and the conversations, gives people permission to show up as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. And show up with their difficult feelings.
Yes.
It's just not about nice stuff. It's showing up with the difficult stuff.
Yeah.
There's something about touch that really, like the idea that muscles hold memory, and that the touch can maybe help release some of those memories, which then free us up, free our energies up, free our feelings up.
I know all about that because I've been to see someone that does therapeutic massage, and the very first time I went, I just heard me shouting and screaming and crying and kicking. All the trauma that was stored in my cells was leaking out, and I just so shocked that I had held all of that in my body. But it makes total sense, really. If I hadn't worked in another way, it's got to go somewhere, really, hasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes with babies who've been birth traumatized and fractious, I think sometimes it's also helping them let go of that, because they can't speak about what their birth was like. We start off with very small amounts of massage, and the babies start fussing. I say, please just stop there and hold them. And it's lovely to see over the weeks they get calmer and calmer. They enjoy the massage more. They relax more into them. So I wonder if that's maybe something that's also happening for them, because birth sometimes can be pretty intense.
Yeah, they got to get squeezed down this canal. So the hospital I went to was quite ahead of its time. My next two in Scotland were at home, but they would, as soon as anybody had a baby, no matter what the birth, they would do cranial sacral therapy on both the mum and the baby.